What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing my top 5 favorite albums of 2020. Guys, I do this every year and I'm super excited to do it again this year because it was a hell of a challenge to decide my top 5 this year. I mean, a hell of a challenge. But I did it. And so we are here today and we're going to knock it out. Now, a couple of quick things that I just wanted to say is, hey, I hope you guys are having a great end of the year. Hope you're having a happy holiday season. It's almost about Christmas time here in America. I know there's actually a couple of you from outside of America watching, which blew my mind. I had no idea that was happening. But hi from America, guys. I appreciate you coming to check out my channel. I'm literally nobody, but I have fun doing this anyway. And man, we gotta have a little tiny discussion at the end of this. But because this is gonna require some talking, I am going to hurry up and jump into first, starting with my honorable mentions of great albums, because basically no album that I've actually listened to this year was bad. They were all great, which made this list like halfway impossible. But I knocked it down. All right, guys, so just quickly, I'm going to look over here at my list that I got written down. That way it's easier for me. Let's talk about some of the, I'm going to list them off. Some of the honorable mentions. AC/DC's Power Up, Avatar Hunter-Gatherer, Killswitch Engage's Atonement 2 EP, Five Finger Death Punch, and I know not everybody likes them, but I have fun listening to them. They're just fun to listen to. It's not like one of the bands that I'm like hardcore serious. You have to listen to this band. No, not like that. But I always have fun listening to them, and they actually had in my opinion, probably one of their best albums since their very first record. This year. It was called F8, so that's an honorable mention. August Burns Red's Guardians, as well as 10 Years, Violent Allies, and Lamb of God, their new self-titled record. All absolutely fantastic hard rock and heavy metal records. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys. Okay, now look, this is just my list. It doesn't make it the right list. It doesn't make it the perfect list. And I would love to see what your guys' favorite albums of the years are. So drop them in the comment section. But let's get into it. So coming in at number 5. This record was such a pleasant surprise that they even came out with it. Man, I absolutely love this band, and I've been listening to them for a couple of years now, and definitely one of my absolute favorite experimental metal, I guess you'd call it, bands. They're just a metal band. I just love what they do. Of course, I am talking about Deftones with their album Ohms. Man, this was a great record. I wasn't expecting this record when I heard it. It felt like it was, I don't know, it was this combination of like Diamond Eyes and White Pony. Like it had this perfect blend of everything that Deftones is unbelievably good at in a new package that just felt, dare I say, fresh. It was so good. I had to put it on this album. Now, again, all 5 of these spots have kind of like fluctuated in the last couple of months, but they've been kind of sitting right here at this perfect. I think this is what I would consider my perfect top 5. But yeah, so at number 5 is where Ohms sits. Coming in after that, this is from pretty much one of my absolute favorite bands of all time. The almighty Trivium dropped a new album this year, and holy shit was it just a massive behemoth of a record. It just had everything that I wanted from it, everything that I wanted out of a Trivium record. It just had it in spades. It just had it just like sucked in and just driven from top to bottom. It was just so good. Man, I don't have all of the best describing words for all of these albums either, because it's just, I mean, I can tell you, because obviously I'm going to tell you a little bit, like, this album in particular, even though it was, such a really unbelievably good record, and it actually, I will say this, that it really, really helped me through, it came out just in the nick of time to really help me through a really hard situation that I had to deal with much earlier in the year. And if I wouldn't have had this album there to get my mind right, I don't know. I don't know what I'd be doing right now. So this album was extremely important for me, as is the number one spot too. But man, oh God, it was so good. It's such a great record. Modern metal, like that is the epitome of modern metal. What I love out of the stuff that it comes out these days. I love the creativity with a little bit of the brutalness, and just this melting pot of all these different things from the metal universe into a sound that I'm absolutely just just a I'm a fucking simp for it, guys. That's the best way to put it. I apologize for the cuss words, but that's how I have to put it. Sorry to be so crass, but god damn. I love that sound. I love that stuff. I love the way that Trivium I love the way that they approach metal. It's literally their last album, The Sin and the Sentence, which was my 2017 album of the year. That one, it was the reason it became my favorite was because not only was it these two I consider two of the absolute best, right up there with Ascendancy and Shogun out of their catalog, but I honestly wholeheartedly believe that that album was like this turning point in my musical style that pushed me to create a Fallen Eden when I did. And so, and of course, obviously, that's the reason I wrote that very first song. Was I had Sin in the Sentence on repeat, and I just heard this melody in my head, and I had to pull it out, and I just started playing, and I did something weird and unexpected with my tuning, and it just boom, that happened. And it's that kind of music that just creatively massively inspires me. And god, they did it again. They did it again in this year's album, and that's why I absolutely love this album. All right, moving on. Number 3. I also have to take a second as I say this next album to apologize to anybody who's still waiting on the reactions from this album. There's a lot of reasons. I have had a lot going on, but don't worry, the rest of the reactions from this album will be coming out. Of course, you probably guessed it already. It's Sevendust's Blood and Stone. God, what a record. I mean, I haven't had a bad record experience from Sevendust pretty much ever. So, of course it was going to be fucking good. But then, on top of that, it just had all these little nuances of this, I want to say that, like, the band has, like, these musical eras that they go through, that they have this new kind of thing. They kind of have a specific changes in it's all Sevendust, but there's like these changes in sections of the band's history that they have a very specific sound, and this is a continuation of the sound that comes from All I See Is War, and even a little bit from Kill the Flaw. And they continued that, and they have absolutely perfected it. And that made for an absolutely stunning album that I am absolutely in love with. Anyway, guys, that's why number 3 was Sevendust's Blood and Stone, and it just barely like the margin of error here is like, each album's like barely above each other, barely. It's just, and there's just specific reasons of where I was when I was listening to it, and the space, the kind of things that I got from it that just made me enjoy everything I was hearing. And of course, coming in at number 2 is an album that smacked me so hard when I listened to it that I was mad as hell that I didn't do a reaction for it. Because holy shit, I was not expecting this album to take this spot. I'm talking about Black Stone Cherries, The Human Condition. Wow. I have a couple of small things to say about this album, and then we're gonna leave the rest of this video talking about the number 1 spot in my album of the year. But man, this album, the production quality was so unbelievably clean. I mean, this was just raw. It was the guitars, the bass, the drums, and the damn vocals, and that was like it. That was it. It was the band, and they were in full rare form, and they were kicking ass. It was so good, guys. I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of this album. And I knew immediately after finishing it when I went, no, why is it over? No, I was so pissed off. I was so mad that it was over. I wanted more. And I immediately put it back on and I just kept listening to it. And I've listened to it a billion times since. And holy shit, did that, I knew it was just going to be up there. At a couple of different spots, at a couple of different points, it might have been my number 1. But there's a reason why it wasn't. And of course, guys, I think you know what my number 1 is. So let's get into it. So have you guys guessed it yet? Do you know what my number 1 favorite album of the year is? Well, if you guys are here on the channel this year, if you're new and you've subscribed in the past few months, I think you guys definitely know what album I'm talking about. Guys, was it any surprise? You all helped take part in why this is my absolute favorite album of the year. I had the absolute best experience with this album. Thanks to all of you. It was my first ever full album reaction here on this channel, and in general. And man, it was just an emotional joyride through the very first track all the way to the very end. I had been so excited and so ready to hear a new album from them, and then it finally came out, and it was even better than their last album, which I considered one of their absolute best. I am, of course, talking about Seether and their new album, Si Vis Pacem Parabellum, or If You Want Peace, Prepare for War. Man, guys, I have never had so much fun with an album before. Like, obviously I've had a lot of fun with albums in the past, but it just wasn't the same. This album had just so much fun to it. It was everything I wanted it to be, and some sprinkled in new surprises that I wasn't expecting at all. The fact that it had just this heavy punch to it that just was reminiscent of the older records, and it had all of the awesome playfulness that they had been building with the last couple of albums, and they just shoved it into this perfect melting pot and created the absolute, I think it's my absolute favorite album from the band now. Of course, I still love Carmen Effect, and you guys know that. But man, this album, it just crushed it. It destroyed every other competition. It helped me through some serious crap. Man, I just throw on this album and it's just, yep, there we go, that's it. And it has this inspirational, creatively inspirational power behind it that makes me want to build a record that's just like it, you know? And that is extremely important to me. And then, of course, the insane journey that we had together, guys. You absolutely crushed, and I mean crushed it, when it came to the reactions for that album. You guys came here and you were like, hey, this is great. And I was just like, it blew me away, and you guys made my year with that incredible response to that reaction to that whole record, and I can't thank you all enough. And on that note, guys, I wanted to say a couple more things about the channel, now that you know my favorite album of the year. Okay, guys, I have to say that we had an absolutely incredible year. We had almost 200 new subscribers this year, which is unfathomable to me. I'm just a literal nobody who started this channel by sitting in his basement talking about a new album when it came out. Just, I'm gonna review an album, and then 6 years later, through lots and lots and lots of crazy changes, I finally went from having like 100 subscribers and being like nothing and getting like 2 views per video to you guys giving me damn near 2,000 views on an AC/DC reaction that was just unbelievable to me, and I still am just blown away by the response you guys have given me this year. And thank you guys so much for that. Thank you for all the interaction you guys did. YouTube sent me this year in review thing, and it showed that you guys had commented like hundreds and 1,000 something comments this year. Watched thousands of minutes of my videos this year, and so many other crazy stats that I was just like, wow, I didn't even realize. And I can't thank you guys enough. I literally can't. I'm blown away. I'm humbled. I'm just a guy who lives in the middle of nowhere, and I appreciate all the crazy support you guys have given me this year. I literally spent some money to get a new laptop, and I got very lucky to get some awesome video editing software. And then one day I was just like, okay, screw it. I'm just going to grab my phone and I'm going to try and do some reactions. I don't think I'm going to be any good at it because I've tried to do it before and I just never got a good response out of it because I didn't think I was very good at doing it. But apparently you guys have been really enjoying it. So, it happened. It just happened. I just recorded some videos, put them up, and you guys responded really well. And it's literally made my year. I know this year has been absolute trash for so many reasons, but you guys have literally been just like the light at the end of the damn tunnel and have made getting through this year extremely worth it for me. So I really appreciate everything, guys. Okay, enough from me going on about that. Let's talk what's happening in 2021. What's going on with the channel next month, January. Well, I'm upgrading, guys. I'm gonna do better audio. I'm gonna hopefully do a lot more editing to just make sure my videos sound better. I'm making a awesome intro, so I actually have an intro finally. It'll be a whole graphic, and it'll have zombie Abe Lincoln in there, because that's kind of the imagery that's kind of gone with this channel for a very long time. So yeah, that'll be in there. Guys, that is not all. I'm finally happy to announce that when we come back with Linkin Rock reactions, guys, I'm going to be doing, for the first time ever, requests. Yes, music requests. Now, of course, you guys got to remember, I am a rock, hard rock, and heavy metal veteran. I've listened to a lot and I mean a lot of music, but I know there's still plenty of stuff out there that I've never heard before. I mean, if it wasn't for my friend saying, hey, you need to go check out Coheed and Cambria, they wouldn't be my absolute favorite band of all time right now. And that was within the last year or two. So I know that the best thing for this channel is to start taking some requests from you guys, because I may know a lot of stuff, but you guys know a bunch of other stuff. And we work together, we're going to do some awesome video stuff. So when we do season 2, I'm not only going to be choosing some reactions to songs that I've never heard before, that could be old as hell, or new, of course. We're going to still do new stuff. There's going to be some great albums coming next year. I know there's some bands cooking up some stuff that I can't wait for next year. But you guys get to make some requests, and I'm super excited for all that. Okay, guys. I think I've been going on about this for a little bit too long now. I'm probably close to the 20-minute mark now. So let's just wrap it up. We're going to have a good year next year, guys. We're going to do some awesome new stuff for the channel, including more new reactions, some awesome covers I'm cooking up. Some covers. And some other stuff, too. I'm still working on what exactly some of the new content I want to do is. However, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. Alright, guys. One last little plug. I have a Patreon, so if you guys wanted to support the channel directly, you can check out the link in the description. We have a couple of different options. I have like a $1 option, and then some other. They're all really cheap. I don't think anything goes over $10. But you can support this channel. You can also support my other stuff. Excuse me, guys. Or you can go check out my website, Arkham Studios. We have tons of stuff over there to check out, including more about these channels and my other channels that I have, my other YouTube channels. We have a whole family of them coming in January, actually. And if you guys have been missing out on the pop culture content, or even like the Magic the Gathering content, you can go check out 2 other brand new channels that are coming very soon, as in like within weeks, because we're at the end of December already. You can go find out more about those over on my website. You can also check out and read about my Patreon over on that website. Also, if you want links to anything, including the other channels, my bands, my Facebook pages, my other social media pages for my bands, and all of that stuff, you can find it on the website, guys. And that is right down below, right down in the description, and you can check that out. Thank you guys for watching. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate every last one of you. And I hope you have a kick-ass ending to this crap-ass year. And we'll catch you in January 2021, guys, with some brand new content. I've been Abe, and I'll see you guys next year.